To the first speaker on my list, the distinguished representative of the Philippines. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, the Philippines associates itself with the statements of Indonesia on behalf of ASEAN and Morocco on behalf of the non-aligned movement. Mr. President, we welcome the Secretary General's resolve to continue to implement the reforms of the Action for Peacekeeping Initiative, ensuring, quote, that every peacekeeping mission and every peacekeeper possesses the full resources and equipment necessary to fulfill their duties, unquote. We also commend member states who have made and pledged voluntary contributions to the Peacebuilding Fund at the High-Level Replenishment Conference. As chair of C-34 Working Group of the Whole, we commend Canada for consistently and patiently working with all regional groups, the Secretariat, and other stakeholders throughout the preparatory process for the 2021 session. Mr. President, since 1963, the Philippines has actively engaged in UN peacekeeping. We are pursuing a principled policy which allows deployment of Philippine military and police troops and personnel. We will continue to ensure that our pledges under the UN peacekeeping readiness system are met. The Philippine government is committed to make available all necessary resources for peacekeeping operations within the agreed time frame. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is currently enhancing capabilities in support of future peacekeeping deployments. Mr. President, I wish to make the following recommendations on the 8 thematic elements for this year's C-34 negotiations. On the conduct of peacekeepers and peacekeeping operations, the Philippines underscores its commitment and support to the Secretary General's zero-tolerance policy and its victim-centered approach on all forms of sexual exploitation and abuse. This issue undermines the values and principles of the UN and erodes the trust of the peoples we have vowed to protect. We reiterate the need to fully vet and train member states' troops before deployment and support the recommendation of that national investigation officers be included in all military units deployed to a field mission. On partnerships, we reiterate our support for intergovernmental platforms that enable peer learning among member states on how to build resilience in peacekeeping, encourage constructive dialogues on the challenges in sustaining peace, and pursuing strategic partnerships. We encourage greater collaboration between the UN and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, in peace operations. These could include projects such as training in the Triangular Partnership Project, capacity building, the sharing of best practices, and increasing women's participation in peacekeeping. On peace building and sustaining peace, the Philippines welcomes the recent adoption by consensus of the twin General Assembly and Security Council resolutions on the 2020 review of the peace building architecture, which reiterate the importance of prioritizing prevention, addressing the root causes of conflict, and devising long-term peace building strategies with adequate and sustainable financial resources. On performance and accountability, we believe that success in peacekeeping operations must be measured by the mandate to protect civilians as the, quote, core criterion of success, with child protection and combating sexual abuse as key elements. Pre-deployment training efforts should be tailored to respond to particular country-specific challenges. On politics, the Philippines supports calls to invest more in local political solutions to conflicts which UN peacekeeping must reinforce and not supplant. On protection, we encourage troop and police contributing countries to prioritize the protection of civilians under imminent threat of danger through using all necessary means when required, in accordance with the UN Charter, mission mandates, and applicable international law. Expectations regarding protection tasks must be succinct and clear, connected to political strategies in the field, and focused on prevention. We also recognize the contributions of unarmed civilian protection and peacekeeping operations as part and parcel of local political solutions. On safety and security, the Philippines puts high priority in ensuring the safety of peacekeepers. The Special Committee emphasizes the importance of having updated rules of engagement that are attuned to realities on the ground. On women, peace, and security, we remain committed to increasing the participation of women in uniformed roles and support the call to integrate gender perspective in all aspects of peacekeeping. The Philippines is further committed to increased deployment of women peacekeepers at all levels and leadership positions. Mr. President, finally, we believe peacekeeping issues must be discussed in a broader forum in order to respond to the problem of the persistent gap between those who decide on the mandates of peace operations and those who deploy the troops and police for implementation of the mandates. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished permanent representative of the Philippines for his statement and now pass